This demonstration we're going to play with one component on the Country Cottage StenScape, and that is the tree. I'm going to show you how to make a really nice colourful tree, really easy. In fact, we're going to do a couple of them and lay them out next to each other in different colours so you can see how we can play with colour, play with tonnage and get an absolutely beautiful result from it. Okay, I'm going to have a play with the mowed lawn distress ink. I'm going to go through my collection here and I'm going to pull out, I think we'll use brushed corduroy, and we'll also use a little bit of my black, which is still running out because I haven't replaced it. Okay, I'm going to use three different pads on three different blending tools. You know for a fact that you don't have to have a different blending tool for each colour as long as you just change the sponges, but I'm being greedy today. Okay, right, I'm going to start. I know we're not doing a StenScape, but just for my own benefit, I want to create just a little bit of land just so we can work our trees onto it so it doesn't look so strange. So we'll blusher that into there. Notice once again, no beading. We'll dab off the excess and we'll just pull a little bit of brown coming over here like so. We'll soften it off. I'll extend this a little bit further because it's a bit longer the cardstock than the mask is, and there is a little bit of land, so that's going to allow me now to play with some trees and things like that. So all I'm going to do before we go any further, a little bit of brown just around the outside. We're not really making a picture, but it's just going to help me envisage the image a little bit better. God, I'm full of big words today, aren't I? Full of something. Right, okay. We're going to go with the tree now. Now, what we can do, we can use a scrap bit of card and we can take it underneath our mask and we can place it on this trunk area here. So that means if we decide to work with a bit of green, like so, that's a blue tool, but we'll use it with a green. I'm going to do this really simple poster-like. It will not look very good, but I'm doing it to emphasise something. So if we work some green over here, notice how it's catching onto that bit of cardstock that we've put under, that little bit of scrap cardstock. So when we lift it out, this cardstock, like so, it's masked off the trunk. So we can pop this back over, like so. Takes a little bit of practice, and then we will add our brown on the bottom. So that's giving you a little idea on how to do very simple trees, but as far as I'm concerned they look too flat. So what we want to do is we want to titivate it up a little bit. So the way we're going to do that, we'll start again, we'll mask it off once again, we'll just take it under like so. That will do there. Okay, now I'm going to take the green over like I done earlier. We'll just add a little bit of green to the mat. It's getting a bit warm, this mat, so the ink's a little bit more viscous, but as soon as you blusher that in, it's absolutely fine. I've got a little bit of contamination on there because I'm not being too careful, but don't worry, it's not important. We're going to cover it in green like we've just done. We'll blusher it in quite a bit where the land is because you will see the land, but this is where we're going to start coming in with a bit of extra brown. So we'll pick up a little bit of brown, we'll work the brown in around here and we'll work it in on one side like so, pull a few bits in like that, and we'll take a little bit of black here. Just dab it down onto our mat, and we'll take a little bit of black around so, like that. We'll darken some bits down, we'll pull some little bits in, and all we're doing is we're just trying to give that illusion that there's some shading and some different variations in the type of greenery there is. We'll work in a little bit more brown around here. And then we'll take this out like we've done before Notice how I just lifted it up, holding this area of the cardstock, and it holds it in place. And then we'll go back over with our brown again, but just on the trunk area, like so. Be careful when you're working with your tool that you don't go over the edge like I've done there. You've got to be very, very careful. It's all about controlling your blending tool and making sure that you don't go onto any of the like other holes on the mask. We'll pick up the black once again, and all I'm going to do is just literally just run it down that brown a little bit to darken it down a bit, and then when we lift it off, our tree compared to that one looks a lot more in depth. Now don't think you have to just use green for your trays, because we can work with all different colours. So what I'll do here, I'll do a more brown tray. So we go straight to our brown, we'll pop it on there. We'll blusher it in. It's very new pad, that brown, so we're working with a fair bit of ink there. That's why it was starting to run a tiny bit. But as long as you blusher it in, that's when Splodge Away does its thing. So we'll cover most of it in brown, including the trunk. We'll leave a little bit light brown and a little bit white. We'll take in a bit of green. And we'll take in a bit of black. Now notice I'm not dipping it back in my colour yet. There's still ample colour on there. Now this is where we can make the trunk. Instead of putting your bit of scrap card underneath, we can put it over the top. And all we need to do is tone down this colour around here with a black. So if we pull that over, tone it down, pull some colours in, like so, just a little bit of black in there. Come back to a brown, pull that in. Just trying to sort of add variation to it, you know. And then, when we take it off, you've got another tray, and it's completely different. So you can build different trays. You can create autumn trays, you can create summer trays. You could even go wacky and use pinks and purples, as long as they match your project. Then it's absolutely fine. One last thing we'll show you. We'll add another tray behind here. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to tilt it very slightly, lift it up a little bit, and this time we're just going to do it lighter. So as long as it's lighter than these two colours, oops, I'm throwing it at the camera now. We'll just add some colour on there. Bit of black up the top, bring a bit of colour in, and then last but not least we're going to do the overlay masking as opposed to the underlay masking, and we're going to darken this bit off here, a little bit of brown, a little bit of green, and then when we lift it off, you've got another tray and it looks like it's behind that. So you can repeat these steps, you can create a range of different trays. That's just using one. If you use multiple trays off multiple StenSkapes, you'll get the best looking forest in the whole world.